And we are back. Listeners, this is number 33.
Is that where we're at now?
Our 33rd podcast of the official Extreme Fantasy Football Podcast Network.
Look at that. Moving along.
Congrats, everybody, and thank you, all of you, not just you there, but everybody, to letting us do this for you. So this is fantastic. So, Pablo, this is great. It's hoodie time. It's hoodie weather.
It is hoodie weather, but I'm in my jersey still. You got to be representing.
We got to represent, so that's awesome. As always, our sponsors are 123go.io and tabbyentertainment.com, so make sure you check out those wonderful companies, and our website is extremeeffl.com. All right, well, Paul, this week we were talking about some of the Week 10 NFL highlights.
Yep. Rough week for me.
Yeah. A lot of teams, rough week out there. The second half of the EFFL is underway, and what's up with those purple ribbons?
Oh, yeah.
We have some people on the exchange that may be worthwhile getting your hands into. We'll check out some of the upcoming Week 11 games and some NFL players to watch. As always, we'll see how AI did this past week. And then the highlight of the whole day is our Game of the Week.
Hell yeah.
All coming at you soon, so hang on. Be right there. All right, and the weather has been fantastic. It is hoodie weather, but the sky looks like it could be June out there. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. It is nicely turning on over. I want to blame global warming, you know? I think that global warming has done some nice favors for us kids in Michigan now. And I remember Halloween before. Halloween was cold.
Halloween was cold.
Halloween isn't cold right now, you know? This is good, and we are almost 2 weeks past Halloween now.
Yeah,
so,
this is fantastic. So we're digging that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what happened in Week 10 in the NFL season. Let's get to the one that's the big shocker.
Yeah, okay. I'm biting my tongue over here. I'm biting my tongue.
You know, I've commented in the past couple of weeks, I believe, about how I feel that the Chiefs, they're not destined to be undefeated for the entire season because they can hardly get through a game. But for some reason, they've gotten through 9 games. And at the end of the game, their score is more than the other scores. And I just don't get it. What happened, Denver? I don't understand.
I know.
They did everything right. They go into Arrowhead Stadium. They basically shut down Patrick Mahomes and the offense that the Chiefs are out there. And Bo Nix, being a rookie quarterback, he played very well. And it's tough playing in KC. And it comes down to it where they have a chance to do I think a 35-yard field goal, a 34-yard field goal. And if you saw the highlights, you know that got blocked. Now,
yeah.
I did some research here, Paul, because you know how I am on research. I spend hours in the research room.
Yeah, you love looking up your stats.
Hours, maybe seconds. But what the hell? I am looking up research. And I was kind of curious about that field goal. And what I did not know is since 2000, there have been 108 field goals that would be either a very late game tying field goal or a winning field goal that was from 35 yards or less. 108.
So that's like 4 a year, right? Just about.
Wow. Sure.
Yeah.
Good math. That was awesome. Caught me off guard there. Yeah, about 4 a year. Now, okay, Paul. So of those 108, I don't know how many were missed. Okay, that part I don't know. But I did find out that, well, and take a shot and then take a guess. How many of those 108 were blocked?
Well, I know the answer, so I can't be a fully.
I'm feeding you the answers here, right?
Shoot, I want to guess one.
One. No more than one. No less than one. One. No less than one. Yeah. One field goal was blocked. The only one of 108 kicks to basically end the game or tie the game late, and it was blocked.
This was the only one.
The only one.
I can't believe that.
So because that, the Chiefs are still 9-0 or now.
Man, that was my game of the week last week too. Like
You did. You called that.
I really believed that they would pull through, and man, they were so close.
Yeah. We'll get to the Chiefs game coming up a little later on in our show, upcoming game they had this week. But yeah, that was kind of a shocker. I was disappointed in that because I was rooting for. Again, I just don't think the Chiefs are as good as 9-0.
Right, but the team's got to be able to go the distance, and none of them have been able to go the
Yeah.
distance yet.
There's something that happens, whether it's Mahomes, and he's not doing that well. I think he has 12 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Mm.
So definitely not Mahomes-like numbers, and I just don't know. But at the end of the day, the clock strikes 0. Their number is still greater, so I guess they keep winning.
Yep.
Some props to them.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting to see there out of Denver. I think for me, the biggest disappointment were the Giants, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really wanted the Giants to do better. I fully believed that we were going to have an easy game for them, at least offensively, and they just could not pull together.
Because
much of
Paul
anything.
has this, you had this new anybody playing Carolina thing, right?
Well, definitely anybody playing Carolina immediately struggling on this new strategy. But even still, I definitely expected Tyrone Tracy Jr. to do better. I expected to see Malik Neighbors doing better. I expected to see. Was he even playing? I don't even know.
He played. He didn't play much, but he played.
Yeah. So there was some major disappointments for the Giants offense, and I know that it's not like they're the best high flying offense by any means, but it's definitely something that you still can't knock them entirely. But
Right.
man, they were just performing not at the level that they have been in the previous weeks.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is he's been exposed for a couple of years now, and I think it's he even got more exposed there against the Carolina Panthers. Plus, Chuba Hubbard, running back for Carolina, actually had 130, I think, scrimmage yards
Okay.
this past week. So he ran all over the Giants. So I maybe Giants are the ones you want to hey,
I bet against.
anybody playing the Giants is going to be on my to-do list going forward. I don't know.
Especially if at least a running back, if you got a Bijan against a running back or against the Giants, play him in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, also, I wanted to talk a little bit about Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Now, fresh off the paper, literally just a couple hours ago, Chicago fired their offensive coordinator. Okay, maybe
Did they really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fresh then.
Either the OC or the quarterback coach. I think it was the OC. So, Caleb Williams, number 1 pick. Now, if you're chosen to be number 1 pick, your team probably isn't very good, right?
Right.
Because you're the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
But the Chicago Bears' actual drafting position was 9. They got number 1 because of a draft with Carolina the year before.
Right.
So they're actually the 9th overall pick. They played. He's played Jaden Daniels and Drake May, who were the 2nd and 3rd.
Right. I was about
Overall
to say, was
picks,
Drake
right?
May 3rd? Yeah.
Yeah, Drake May was 3rd. Daniels was 2. Those 2 teams literally got the 2nd and 3rd pick because of how bad they were. So you could sit here and argue that the Commanders and the Patriots teams are worse than what the Bears team was. The Bears just got the overall pick because of a trade with DJ Moore.
Right.
Okay? Caleb Williams and all the weapons that Chicago invested in to get him the people that he needed to succeed is now 0-2 against his fellow rookie QBs, Daniels and May.
So, all right. Now, I haven't been I don't really notice too much of the difference between a good coach and a great coach. I know kind of when I see a bad offensive coordinator, more so than, a good or average or great. It's kind of harder for
Right.
me as a viewer on the outside to determine that because I'm watching the players, right? So it'll be interesting to know if this Caleb Williams performing underneath the level of his peers, being rookies, if that's going to be tied to the offensive coordinator or if that's going to be kind of something that was, like you said, predicted and just kind of the scenario anyways. And it might be just the team that he's working with, but like you said, he's not working with a bad team.
Right.
So it's an interesting scenario. I I know that hiring or firing and hiring a new coach midseason is going to be tough for any team to really pull through with that sort of winning, going to playoffs with that. But
Yep.
potentially being able to scrap together a good second half of the season that they could pull through for into next season, finding out where they need to get some weaknesses filled in for the draft, that could be good. So
Yeah.
So there's definitely something that the offensive coordinator could have his eyes on, but I don't know. It's going to be a rough spot for the Bears, even more so than it already was. So I don't know. We'll have to see. A couple weeks could go by and they might look different, but
Well, I don't pretend. Well, I should say, I do pretend. That's all I do is pretend. I do pretend to be the general manager of many teams, and we all can second guess certain things that happen. But let's go back last year when they had Justin Fields as a quarterback for the Bears. And they still had the number 1 overall pick they got from Carolina and number 9 pick they got from their own. I would have thought that they would have kept Fields, invested somebody on the O-line, because if you watch the game, I don't care how good your skilled players are. And it's sad to call them the skilled players because legitimately, and the Bears are seeing this firsthand, the skilled players are really those 5 guys in front of the quarterback, not the 5 guys outside the quarterback.
yeah.
In
100%.
my eyes, right?
Yeah, no, I would go that far too. You can't
Right.
make something happen without them, 100%.
So they put all this money and these resources into Caleb Williams and getting him Keenan Allen, and he had DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, and he had decent running backs in Johnson. They had Herbert, but DeAndre Swift. So they had things there, but I don't know. If you don't have an O-line, you're not going to do any good. I think that's a telltale thing going on right now. So that's just my little spiel. So unfortunately, the Bears are 0-2, and so Caleb Williams. I don't want quarterbacks to get into a bad funk, and because he has the skills, he could be a good quarterback. But
yeah, it's still early days, but
yeah,
I hear you.
yeah. So let's move on from a rookie quarterback to 2 veteran quarterbacks.
Oh yeah,
who have a lot of I'm going to say a lot of positive hype coming into this season. Who have dropped the ball, and I'm not going to say that figuratively, but kind of have. Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott, and the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Okay. Dallas, and my eyes, there's no saving the season for Dallas or the Jets. Dallas, both of them have 3 wins. Dallas is 3-6, and the Jets are 3-7. So there's nothing you can do about this season. It's not going to happen any further. So what do you do? Now, Dak Prescott, he did get hurt. He's going to go on an IR for some hamstring injuries. Apparently his hamstring is off the bone.
Yeah. A part of his hamstring was off the bone.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
That sounds like something you might want if you barbecue something. You want it off the bone. It's like the meat falling off the bone kind of thing. But maybe I don't want to discuss that so much. But anyways,
some extra rare hamstring.
Yeah. So if you watch the game, and there's one particular moment that has been played a lot this morning on some of the news and sports news channels, is the touchdown pass that would have happened to CeeDee Lamb if the sun didn't get in his eyes. Now,
Interesting.
Dallas plays in a dome.
Gotcha.
So, Dallas plays in a dome. And you're playing September through December, possibly if you're lucky, January. You know that. And you probably have an idea of where the sun is going to be setting at particular days and times of the day and all that.
Right.
If you watch that pass from Cooper Rush, it's like an 8-yard pass to CeeDee Lamb. Lamb is wide open in the end zone, running kind of across the field, and the ball, his hands didn't move. He had no reaction to it all, and then he pointed to his eyes when the ball fell next to him. He just couldn't see it. Why the heck do you have the sun in your eyes if you're in a dome?
Yeah.
Why do you create the design, I guess, better word, design the stadium?
To control the environment.
Okay.
And then not control the environment.
Then why don't you have, shades or curtain rod, the old-fashioned curtain rod thing.
Right.
Something, or push a button and this thing falls down. And it's
Yeah.
just terrible. That being said,
Can you imagine instead of a ball boy, there's a curtain boy who's just got to like pull on a rope for like 10 minutes as it just scrolls across the entire dome.
He's got to tap out anymore.
Right.
I think that is just silly. But
Yeah.
whatever the reasoning is, Dallas Cowboys season is down the tubes.
So here's something I want to say on that,
Sure.
because Dallas Cowboys, they've got Dak Prescott. He just got injured. They have CeeDee Lamb still. They have Rico Dowdle. But even still, it's not like any of those people are doing something on their own. So as good as those two people can be as prospects, they aren't somebody on their own who's going to be that element, you know?
Right.
And so, what was it? Cooper Rush who came in for him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, he has some big shoes to fill, and it's not even Dak Prescott's shoes. He's got to do better than Dak Prescott did, because even Dak wasn't doing it. And so until Dak comes back, that rhymed. Until that happens, we're not going to be seeing the Cowboys doing too much, right? And I think this is different, where the Giants, they still have the same team they were working with, right? Like they've got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is still the same old but talented player that he is, you know? So ultimately, we can see Aaron Rodgers pulling out a game in the 16th game of the year, or like, you know, pulling out some sort of miracle in the 14th game of the year. And I could see that legitimately happening, where I don't see Cooper Rush in the same boat there. I think there is a difference still between the Giants and the Cowboys, at least until they get Prescott back. And I don't think they will be getting Prescott back until his hamstring can kind of reattach itself. So I don't know how quick of a process that is, but I don't imagine it's a quick one.
Well, and then at that point, if you wait 4 more weeks, 5 more weeks, whatever it is, to get the hamstring connected again, literally, your season's over. So why even play him?
Right.
Cooper Rush actually had not done a very bad job. I think he's 5-1 in his 6 starts before this past week. So he's not that bad. Now, playing general manager again, I did not know this till this morning. I know that Dallas is paying Dak Prescott $60 million this year. Do you know what his cap hit for next year is for 2025?
No.
$98.8 million. The way his contract is structured, his cap hit is $98.8 million next year.
Wow.
Now,
what does he have to do to get that?
It's not what he was paid. It's just the way that they structured his contract.
Okay.
So there's this guy, currently a coach in in Colorado, Denver area, named Deion Sanders, right? He has his son, Shedeur Sanders, who's arguably one of the best college players out there right now. Deion used to play for Dallas, and Deion has said many times that he wants his kid to play for only a few teams, one of which is Dallas. Dallas probably won't have the number 1 overall pick, although they might, I guess. I shouldn't say that. They might get the overall pick. Now, if you have $98.8 million on the books for a guy named Dak Prescott, but you want to bring in Shedeur Sanders, and I possibly even heard one guy say that Dallas should hire Neon Prime, whatever, Sanders to coach for him.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell do you do with $98 million? Do you say, Dak, you're sitting on the bench, I'm going to bring in my son and play? Or do you not pick Shedeur Sanders and go elsewhere because you have $98 in the books for a quarterback? It's a huge decision.
Yeah, so what does the contract say for Dak? Because obviously, if you really want to bring someone new in, you could say, like, we're going to run with Cooper Rush for the rest of the season, and then we're going to bring someone new in, and we're going to use Cooper as, like, a secondary when the new star quarterback comes in.
You could do that, but you're still $98.8 million of the salary cap for next year, which I believe is about $280 million. So
that's what I was wondering. So, like, does the contract allow them to get out of that based on Dak's performance this year or something?
They have to pay it. They have to pay it. They just can't. Jerry Jones just can't write a check for $98 million and call it even, because that's not how the structuring of the pay works.
Right.
So they are on that. It's an interesting situation. The Cowboys are hamstrung now, no pun intended, with what's going on with Dak Prescott. But they're stuck because now they had this money on the table and it's a 3 more year contract for Dak Prescott. So they got
Yeah,
a
that's
long
what I
ways
was-
to go.
Right. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Man, that's a rough spot. We're gonna see what they can do, but right. You said long ways to go, and I think you're 100% right with that.
Yeah. We'll see what happens there. Let's move on to some wonderful news about our local boys here.
Oh yeah, what's going on?
So we understand that Jared Goff didn't play well, and the
Mhm.
Lions, were in a big hole, and they did succeed in something that has not been done since 1970. So 54 years ago, the first time that a team has been down by 15 or more points with 5 interceptions at least, and came back and won the game, which we
Wow.
did.
Yeah.
But I have to give props to this guy, Jake Bates. Now, if you don't know Jake Bates' story, it's an interesting story. He didn't play football until his senior year in high school. He
Okay.
played soccer, so he came in as a kicker, which is what he is now.
Mhm.
And he played for college. I forgot where he played college at. He went around to the Buccaneers, and then he went to, was it New Orleans, somewhere else, and he didn't get a job kicking. He was selling bricks. 18 months ago, he was selling bricks in Houston, Texas.
What kind of just like
Not marijuana
bricklaying?
bricks.
All right. Not like drugs.
I don't think drug bricks. I think it's bricks, right?
Okay.
He decides to try out for the UFL, and he makes the team. Happens to get on the Michigan Panthers team here for us here, right?
Oh, okay.
At
Yeah.
Ford Field. He kicks 2 64-yard field goals back to back. One of them he was kicking. The team called a timeout. He kicked the ball, went through the upright, 64 yards. The very next play, re-snap, hike, kick, the ball goes through 64 yards back to back. He makes
Wow.
them. That basically got him a tryout on the Lions, which he's now playing the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
He had a 58-yard field goal to tie it and a 52-yard field goal to win it. Both of those field goals, and the ball almost brushes the inside of the upright. I mean, one on one side and one on the other. It was that close.
Mm-hmm.
What I found out is I think Jake Elliott for the Eagles has the longest rookie field goal at 61 yards. But
Okay.
the Lions are looking really good. They have a rookie quarterback, a rookie kicker, doing a 58-yard field. He has not missed a field goal yet this year, 58 and 52. With that kind of pressure on, built all this, we were in a hole, and got back up, the offense, all that kind of thing, and we had a chance to win it, and he comes through. It was glorious.
Yeah.
It was glorious.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, everyone was so excited about that game afterwards.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I love this wave of Detroit hype right now. We have got that coming for us, and hopefully we got some other good things coming for us in the future.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. So, anyways, the Lions win, so that's great. And the Lions currently are number 1 seed in the NFC, as are those aforementioned Chiefs. So right now, looking at a Chiefs-Lions Super Bowl.
I'd be okay with that.
I would be too.
I especially think we could win that, so
And
I'd be cool with that.
If we do that, you will find my butt sitting in New Orleans at the Superdome watching that game. I will not let that go by.
Not gonna miss a Detroit Lions Super
Not going to let that go by. So, okay, so let's go back a little bit to some of the EFFL. Let's make a change there.
Absolutely. We're gonna do a little bit of this, a little bit of this.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. All right. So the second half is now underway. And if you're on the website and you're looking at the weekly standings and you see a purple ribbon next to your name or other team's name, other people, that means that team has a spot secured in the end of the season championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So they already had that spot reserved. So it doesn't matter what they do for their second half of the season, they have their spots reserved. So if you see a purple ribbon, you can congratulate those teams because they are already in the finals.
Yes, the purple ribbon has a number as well, so it'll say 1 on it right now if you see it, and that's because they won the first half. It'll say 2 for the second half for the last couple of games before, I guess during the championships.
Yeah. Yep. So that's pretty exciting. We're looking forward to. That's a nice little visual to see what you do there.
It is.
And now we're actually into week 10. Second half is underway. And we don't go through the all the private leagues that we have here. So we do kind of cover the just the public and the sponsored leagues we have.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 3 of those. The 1, 2, 3 Go League, which Zelma Zigzags and Extreme Rookie got off to a wonderful start. So they are 1 and 2 so far for this second half of this season. The Tabby Entertainment League is the K-Box Crushers and Ethan's Mountain Express. They're off to a really hot start at 1 and 2. And then the Platinum League is Rock Range Rolls and OG Milkbone are 1 and 2. Now, what's kind of cool, though, and a shout out to James Ranger and Candace Box, of those 6 teams, 4 of them are James and Candace.
Really?
Yeah. Zelma Zigzags, K-Box Crushers, Ethan's Mountain Express, and Rock Range Rolls are all James or Candace.
Man, they are on fire right now.
So they got to a really good start. So that's awesome. So good job out there.
Hell yeah.
But that's what those ribbons are for. And as you see, we're now in week 2, second half of the season. So you can, all those players who you chose beginning of the season and you played through 1 through 9 are now available to be played again.
Exactly. So if you're like me and you chose David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs for first week, you can this time not just double up and use them all right away. And
Did you do that? Did you pick them both at the same time?
I did pick them both at the same time, but I think it was actually the second week that I did that.
Okay.
Somewhere along there in the first 3.
You know, it's not a bad play.
It's not. No, not for them too.
Yeah. So
in particular, the 2 of them work well, and I think it was a good week too for when I did it. But either way, you know, as you're looking the rest of the weeks and you're like, all right, okay, what do I want to choose as a running back? Who am I going to run? And then you're like, all right, yeah, Jameer Gibbs. And you're like, okay, David Montgomery. And you're like, damn it, every single time. So, you know, don't forget, don't use your players too early.
Yeah, there's not many duos out there that recommend playing. You can play both at the same time, but those 2 actually you can do and be successful. So
Yeah, 100%.
So, all right, let's move on to the exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So we sometimes talk about the hot hands on the exchange and who to buy, who not to buy, which we might also hear. But we have some names of some players and some teams here that you may want to look at, maybe because they had a bad game. So I'll start. I'll pick on Jared Goff. I mean, I'm a big homer here anyways, but his value going into the game this past week was $161 and change. He lost almost $70. He's down to $94.51. So guess what I did?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you bought him.
I bought.
Yeah, I bought him.
I bought him.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great week to buy him too. They're going up against somebody.
Jacksonville.
The Jags. Yeah, they're going up against the Jags
At
this
home.
week. At home. So it's really a great week to go for him. On the EFFL league, but also definitely pick him up in Extreme Exchange. He is like $90.
$94.51.
Losing $70. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry if anybody had chosen him last week
Now
and
you're
then lost that.
If you bought Jared Goff prior to this point, you were invested in him. Oh, okay, he's doing great. If you thought, yeah, he's riding this wave, I'm gonna, man, that stock plummeted.
Yeah,
So, which brings it back into play. All right, now I'm going to buy it again. So,
exactly right. Definitely a good time to buy it. And if you did lose out on that $70, then play him this week, and I bet you'll get some of that back. So.
yeah, I hope so. Because again, $100 is kind of the average threshold for the average starter of 32 quarterbacks.
Right.
So I still consider him as being better than average. I don't think he's going to be elite. He's not going to be $180. I can definitely see him in the 130, 140 range.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Well, continuing to talk here about some quarterbacks.
Yeah, who do you got?
So we got C.J. Stroud here
Yeah.
at 89 here, and they're playing Dallas this next week.
And he gets his big guy back.
Yeah.
Nico Collins is back for him.
Nico Collins got the Texans here. I personally have been waiting to see C.J. Stroud back in action, like take control of it. I know he's good. I know he's better than I think a lot of the quarterbacks in his league, you know, and it hurts me a little bit to say it because of the college team that he was a part of, but I think he's real good. And I absolutely think that he's going to be more so of value than $89 this week, especially. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good pick.
Because you're playing Dallas. You're playing in Dallas. Careful of that sun. Make sure you whatever.
Put your visor on. With
Don't run routes across the sun side. Actually, I think they're playing Monday night. Actually, so it won't be an issue.
Okay.
It's a bummer that the Cowboys.
Yeah, the sun doesn't come out on Mondays.
Yeah,
Everybody,
so
you know.
but that's interesting. So yeah, it's a good choice. I think Stroud's going to do well. I think he's upset. He knows he had the game in hand and this past week. Actually, he said,
Right.
the game's on me. So if you saw that interception, the second one by Carlton Davis, um, Stroud's running to his right. It wasn't a very long throw, and Tank Dell had 20 yards besides him and anybody else on the Lions defense. And Stroud just tried to be a little too fancy and a little bit too much air under the ball and allowed Davis to come on in and last second make a nice little diving interception in the end zone. But that was a touchdown that could have cost. It would have given the game. Obviously,
would have won them. Right,
Yep.
right.
So I'm going to go over to Pittsburgh. I'm a longtime Steeler fan, and I've been so since 1976 when I got a team autograph. So I do like the Steelers. And I'm going to go out and say that Russell Wilson is making George Pickens, who's currently valued at $103, and also Pat Fryermuth, which is offered at $78. I think those two people are really earning their dollars based on Russell Wilson and what he's brought to the team. So
I'm surprised that Russell Wilson was doing so good. I was very
yeah.
pessimistic when he joined or when he became a late pick back on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Jaden Daniels now?
And Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, man, Jaden Daniels and Justin Fields every time.
Very similar.
But yeah, Justin Fields was doing good. By no means was he somebody that needed to be replaced on the team, but you have a great talent at the quarterback position with Russell Wilson, and when you get the right people to go with him, then yeah, absolutely, you're getting a lot better mileage out of him than I expected him to be. So
right.
Good for him, and absolutely, yeah, I think that he's going to be making Cortland Sutton looking good this week.
No, Pickens. Not Sutton.
My mistake. Yeah. He's going to be making Pickens look good.
Yeah. If you get a chance, watch the pass. It's a short out route to Pat Fryermuth right near the goal line. The ball had to be outside the numbers, and it was perfectly in his hands. He had a nice little lob pass to Mike Williams in the end zone for touchdown. George Pickens made a phenomenal. He was twisting his body catch in the end zone. So, again, Russell Wilson is bringing out the best in those receivers, so that's good.
Yeah.
And then the last one I want to talk about is the Cincinnati's Bengals offense. I don't have the stats in front of me, but they were 0-4 or 1-4, and the chance of getting in the playoffs was almost nil. I'm on the Bengals will make the playoffs. I'm going on record right here.
You like that?
November 12th. Bengals will be in the playoffs. I have all the confidence. I also do have Joe Burrow on my traditional league, but I do feel that, and because of that, the Bengals offense is currently only at $91. So I think that's worth buying because I think they're definitely better than the average team.
All right, so then putting those against the other teams that are, I guess the Bengals are 4-6. Wow, I was about to say the other 6-4 teams, they are 4-6. And you think that they're still going to make those playoffs?
I think Baltimore is not going to make the playoffs.
You think that Baltimore is not?
I think Baltimore is not going to make playoffs.
Just because their defense is
Their
bad?
defense.
You think their defense has been too bad for it?
Defense is costing them. It's going to cost them.
I mean, we'll see. They obviously have been. They still have Lamar Jackson. They still have Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
It's not going to be an easy offense to beat.
Yeah.
At least you're going to have to score a lot of points.
I agree. But if you've watched that game, the Bengals and the Ravens, they played last week.
Yeah.
Ravens won by 1.
I can't. Oh my gosh, that game was crazy.
It was a great game.
You were spot on. I remember talking to you before the show, and you were like, "I suspect that's going to be a high-scoring game."
It was. Yep. And it was a high-scoring game, and I still think the Bengals are going to make it. So, $91 to me is a cheap price for the Bengals offense.
Yeah. You know what? I would like to see it. We'll see. We'll see about that. I think going into it, the other teams that are for are Seattle, Indianapolis. The Rams have 4 wins. Bears have 4 wins. I don't think any of them realistically have a good shot at making it in. You know,
and the Rams could have, but they lost last night.
Right.
They got dismantled by Miami. So at home.
I know. I thought that was a pretty good bet last week.
Me too.
And it was sad. I mean, I was playing HN on my standard league, so I was.
So was I. Actually, I know. I'm sorry. I do. I had on my standard league as well as my EFFL league.
Yeah. Oh, see, I wish I had him on my EFFL league because he would have been a good one. Actually,
he didn't do anything special. I think he got 18 points. I think it was.
I was about to say. I think I did choose him
because he was my RB2.
Right. Yeah. He was my RB2 as well. Yep,
okay.
17 points.
See, there you go.
Yeah. Man, I was so disappointed with I'm just going to go a quick little walkthrough of what I did last week. All right, everybody, let's just go through my trauma. So it was
Do you need a drink, Paul? Do you need a drink?
I could use a little drink right now. So I was -6 on offense with Minnesota.
So was I.
All right, right off the bat. Defense, Buffalo Bills, not bad actually. 21 points. That was pretty decent.
Okay.
Could have been bad. Could have been bad. Wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here 1 minute. Let me mute. I gotta move my mic. All right, it was in the way of the computer. All right, so Sam Darnold, quarterback of the Vikings, as my quarterback. 17 points on him as well. Not much.
Not very good.
At this point, still, offense, defense, quarterback, and running back combined is like a total of 40 points. You know, so rough. It's rough. J.K. Dobbins, not great, but not terrible. But he was my running back 21 points. Not great.
No.
Devon Achane, 17 points. Malik Neighbors, 18 points as my wide receiver 1. Lad McConkey, 17 points as my wide receiver 2. At this point, still nothing over 20, like 5. It was rough. Dalton Kincaid, of course, tight end and kicker, are not going to be much there. Dalton Kincaid was 8, and then Jake Elliott actually was 12. So Jake Elliott actually did surprisingly good, but, you know,
Sure.
Total score of 126. This was a rough week to watch as it went.
And I could tell you in reference to that, James Ranger and his teams, they're all the same lineup. I think he's at 376 points this past week. That's what he had. So just put it in perspective there. But he did go through a lot of players. I mean, he picked some superstar players, which is a strategy. But anyways, so I went with Lad McConkey on your recommendation.
Right.
You remember that
recommendation?
Yep. That didn't go so well.
It did not go so well. Yeah. 17 points. But
all right, let's check out some of the games coming up this next week, week 11 in NFL. There are 3 big games in my eyes to look at, and they all involve teams that are leading or whatever will be. We got Washington at Philadelphia, which I feel will be your game of the week, so I won't dig into that. But both teams are in first place essentially, with the bye weeks kind of screwy. But the winner of this game will be in first place in the NFC East, so it's a big game there. The game is in Philly. I'll let you break it down, but that's a good game for us to look at.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see.
Baltimore,
excited to see what happens at the end of that game. Either way, really.
Yeah. Baltimore is on the road at Pittsburgh. We've mentioned Baltimore and Pittsburgh in the show already, so I can say the aforementioned teams. Without going into depth, I just told you before, I think Baltimore's going to be out of the playoffs, and I think Russell Wilson is making the Steelers good. Maybe not great, but at least maybe better, very good. But the Steelers' defense, I think, is going to give some issues. They always have to Lamar. So that's my issue there. And then the last game, which I will break down for my game of the week, is going to be the Chiefs at Buffalo.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You probably have an idea who I'm rooting for.
Yeah, you're going for the Chiefs? No, I'm joking.
So I'll break that down in a little bit. But those are my 3 games I feel are big games coming up this week.
So something that I was excited about when I saw it was the Bengals versus Chargers. I thought that would be a fun game. I'm personally a big fan of both those teams this season. In particular, I think that they both have some like underrated potential. So I'm excited to see something good there. But obviously, those teams are 4-6 and 6-3. So this is like fighting for a chance to try to make it into like either wild card or fighting for a chance to try to make it back into playoffs for your division. So. We'll see what they can do. I'm not sure what we're going to get out of it, but I think that that's a fun game. And then another one that I personally am surprised to find myself rooting for the Packers, but I think that the Packers over the Bears is another 6 on the Packers and then 4 wins for the Bears. And I think that Packers are a clear winner here. So we'll see. We'll see what the new coach can do for the Bears, but I really do feel like that's going to be a good one for the Packers. And so if you're looking for, a game that might kind of help dictate the future of the Packers and help dictate the future of the Bears, I think that could be a good one for it.
Yeah, I do feel the Packers will win that game. I'm hoping the Bears win, just give the little Lions a little bit of a breather.
Space.
But I think the better team is Green Bay. So I just can't see Caleb Williams performing that well right now. But maybe the new head coach or new offensive coordinator might help.
Right, because there's a chance that this offensive coordinator just does not see eye to eye. Like the old one didn't see eye to eye with him, and that the new one does, and that the two of them mesh real well, and that it'll just be what everyone was hoping for in the first place.
Very possible.
So there's a chance of that.
Very possible.
See it.
We have some players to watch, and I do feel I was shocked. I know McCaffrey came back last week. I was thinking that he's going to be on what they call a pitch count. They use that terminology as a baseball phrase in a football game. That he wouldn't be playing every snap, that kind of thing. He played in 88% of the offensive snaps.
Man.
So I'm thinking if he's at that point, he's back. And a good McCaffrey is better than a superstar of almost anybody else in that team on the league.
Right.
So give me a good McCaffrey playing 88% of the snaps. That's going to be awesome. He looked great. He looked really, really good.
What's his value right now, too, in the exchange?
They didn't have there was a glitch.
Oh, right. Yes, yeah.
Because he's been out, so it was $207. That obviously will drop. And I don't know if it's going to be worthwhile yet. I don't think he dropped like Jared Goff dropped yet.
Right.
$70 because it wasn't that bad. But I do think that he's going to go down. But anyways, McCaffrey surprisingly played a lot of snaps, and they are playing against Seattle. So
okay.
We mentioned Nico Collins. He's back or supposed to be back now for the Texans. He was a game that you mentioned earlier. They are playing Dallas, so I think Nico Collins. With C.J. Stroud being upset at how the game ended last week, they're going to take it out on Dallas. I see Dallas just getting manhandled. If Houston's defense can play anywhere like they played against the Lions offense, remember the Lions go into Dallas and win 47-9.
Right.
They go into Houston and they, barely by literally the thread on the football, win the game. So now, if you're using that A plus B plus B plus C, all kind of stuff, right? Using that kind of comparison, then Houston going into Dallas should just crush Dallas.
Right. It's a result in the loss. Yeah.
And Houston's offense is every bit as capable as Lions' offense is. So I'm seeing Dallas getting the butt kicked.
When it comes to other players to watch, I want to throw out Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
I know that the Saints aren't looking nearly as hot as they were looking at the beginning of the season, but they're against the Browns this week, and they don't have a great defense. They are not looking like the Browns of the old, and so I think that this is a good week to play Alvin Kamara. I'm not sure if I'd put him in running back 1, but I think it's a good week to do it, even if you wanted to.
So the Saints actually fired their head coach mid-season. Dennis Allen was head coach, and they fired him. And now something Rizzi is his last name. I'll tell you one thing. That guy is intense. We have Dan Campbell here. This coach Rizzi for the Saints is intense. And he has this gravelly voice kind of thing. And I'm like, good, wow, man. That was pretty impressive. So if the Saints reacted, and they won last week pretty easily, if that's that kind of motivation, then I think Alvin Kamara is a good call.
Right.
So,
yeah.
That's good. Lastly, I can't go without talking about the quarterback tandem of Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes coming up this week in Buffalo.
This is a risky game to talk about here for players to watch.
It's going to be a good game. Obviously both players top of their profession.
That's true.
Josh Allen is 3-1 against Mahomes in the regular season.
Right.
Mahomes is 3-0 against Josh Allen in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
This game is being played in Buffalo.
In the regular season.
If there's revenge on Josh Allen's part, I don't see. I'm not just being a Chief hater here, but I don't see the Chiefs coming out with a win. If they, on record now, if they can go into Buffalo and win without some freaky, lucky blocked punt or blocked field goal or the heck it was, I'll sit here on radio and the show and I'll say that I was wrong about the Chiefs. But at this point, I'm not. I think the Bills win.
I'll hold you to that.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. That's an interesting one. I think that those quarterbacks, obviously, Josh Allen has been on the rise this season, at least as of recent, and the Bills along with him. So we'll see if they can turn it over on the Chiefs. They definitely have the potential. They can absolutely do it.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if the Chiefs can come out with another win this week. So
Yeah. I think Josh Allen is going to no, your streak ends here. So okay. How about those AIs? How is the asinine idiots doing?
yeah, let me know because they've been doing pretty good these last handful of weeks leading.
They have. So on the betting aspect of AI, the money lines they were 10 out of 15. So they're staying
Okay.
right at the 66.9% year to date. So they're right on target there, which is great.
Right.
They were only 4 out of 15. Actually, they did have one tie. So I guess
Wow.
4 out of 14 and one tie.
Sure. Okay.
And the spread lines. Now AI gets a little bit. If you just take AI and go with the spread that they pick, and you just blindly do that, you're probably not thinking with all your mental capacities because they're picking some pretty ugly scoring games and some pretty ugly wins there. The Chiefs by 16. They had Chicago by 11. The Chargers by 11. The Eagles by 12. That one came true.
Sure.
But of those, and Detroit by 10. So they had 5 games that they chose to be
Wow.
over 10 or more points. Only one ended up being right. So they were 4 out of 14 with one tie, and they're at 43% for the year. So
Okay.
if you take if I was to do this, and I don't, but if you're to take the AI money line bets and then reasonably look at what the spread lines is, not what AI predicts, but what the actual spread lines are, you could probably make some
Right.
success there.
Right, because you could adapt the spread lines and be like, all right, this is a little egregious. The Chiefs aren't performing at this level, even though they're 9-0. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing is that they are looking at stats, so they're projecting based off of trends, and we know otherwise based off of, a player that just got injured or
The eyeball
so
test.
on and so forth.
The eyeball
Exactly.
test. Yeah.
Trust in your gut. The good old American way.
Yeah. So the AI team does have those purple ribbons. It's got one on this name, so they have their spot reserved. So maybe they're a little bit sloughing off this year in the second half because they did not get off to a very good start. They did outscore you, I guess, right? They're at 196. How much did you get this week?
Yeah, I got 126.
Okay, yeah. So AI, and whatever, but
It blew
AI.
me out. I think everyone blew me out of the water. So that was a.
It's just 1 week. You got 8
Cheers to
more
that.
weeks to go. But AI had 196 for the week, and they did get 5 wins in the 1, 2, 3 Go sponsored league. So that's the update on AI.
I'm surprised that they're doing good. I'm glad that they had a week that they struggled a lot in the spread because they've been doing really, really good recently.
Yeah. Cannot complain. So
Yep.
all right, hey, you got the cool little sound effects for our game of the week?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Man, we're thrashing out here.
Game of the week.
Man, if I had hair.
Yeah, you need it. I'll have to. We're going to buy you a wig just for the show.
Just so I could put it on.
We're going to have you pull out some Kiss Rock wig and then you're.
Woo! All right. So let's get to our game of the week, Paul. So I'll let you go first. So let me know who you have and tell me a little bit about why you have them.
All right, little teaser earlier. Might have leaked you into it. Commanders versus the Eagles are what I'm looking at this week. Personally, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit of a doubter for the Commanders. I don't think that they. What's the right way to say this? I don't know if they have the ability to sustain their performance that they've got right now. All right. But the Eagles, I feel like they do have the ability to sustain their performance a lot better. I think that they have, just with the crew of Hurts, Barkley, and A.J. Brown, they've got a solid front right there that has the experience to push through adversity, I think, a little bit better than the Commanders have. Granted, as of recent trending, we haven't seen that being the case. So we'll find out if the Commanders actually aren't able to keep up to it or if they're going to go. Either way, this is going to be a neck-and-neck game, hopefully, that we're going to see. And I think it's going to be an offensive mind game also. So it should be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I still think Jaden Daniels, well, he's not thinking. He actually still is a rookie. Rookie on the road.
That hasn't changed yet.
Yeah. Rookie on the road, divisional game. That's a lot to overcome and you could have the best season you could ever have, but you're going into Philly on a must-win kind of thing.
Right. Is that you said divisional game?
Yeah, divisional game.
Oh yeah, that's important.
Yeah, whoever wins will be the first place of the NFC East,
Right.
which is great. And can I just complain about Barkley?
Sure. Right. What do you?
Actually, it's not about Barkley because I think Barkley is what he's done this year is wonderful. He's already outgained this year in 9 games what he had all season last year for the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Will they stop this freaking tush push at the 1 yard line for Jalen Hurts?
Oh my God.
I had Barkley as my RB1 this week, and just give him the ball. Don't have to do a tush push. I think there's the 4th tush push for a touchdown for Jalen Hurts this year.
Right.
That's 4 touchdowns that Barkley should have. I'm not a
gonna
huge
say-
Barkley fan, but I had him playing on my roster this week.
So I understand the tush push idea. I can get behind it sometimes, but ultimately speaking, you give that ball to a running back, and it's going to be the same result, right? It's not like Jalen Hurts is out here pushing these linemen over. Like, no, like honestly, Saquon Barkley is one of the hardest runners right now in the league, also. So like, giving him the ball is a good chance for it.
Yeah.
Maybe if the coach is set on trying to save Saquon and save his energy.
I don't know.
Even still, like, that doesn't make sense because you're putting your quarterback on the line, and that's not what you do. That's what the fullback is for,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They absolutely need to be giving Saquon the ball on that one line. If not for the fantasy fans, then
Exactly.
just for Saquon, and Jalen Hurts needs a break anyways.
Jalen he can get his flowers all the ways, but give Saquon the 1 yard, put him in that tush push. Push his tush in the end zone. I don't know whatever, but yeah, that kind of burned me this week. So that was my little thing. My game of the week. I mentioned it before.
Wait for it.
Oh,
down under the rock. What's it?
Well, I mentioned it a few minutes ago. I'm all in on the Bills and the Chiefs game this week. I call it must see TV. You can sit here and then you can talk about the Josh Allen versus Mahomes thing, and that is a key. The thing that I'm looking at is Chris Jones. Chris Jones is a D lineman for the Chiefs.
Okay.
Arguably the most disruptive interior D lineman in the game. He only has 3 sacks this year. And as a D lineman, you just don't get as many sacks because you got to go through usually a center and a guard,
Right.
Maybe a blocking fullback or running back to get in there, as opposed to an end rusher, which is easier to do. But when you watch the Chiefs' defense, Chris Jones is almost always getting double teamed, and if Buffalo can do that and keep Chris Jones out of the backfield, I think Josh Allen, he has the legit running ability. You see him run 50 yards every week. It's just almost a guaranteed thing, his rushing yards. Josh Allen will hurt you. And I do feel that the Chiefs' offense, again, is not all that. They have a lot of injuries, and I understand injuries, suck, but they're part of the game. I'm going to put it on Josh Allen and the Bills to walk out there with a win. And I think it might even be a little more decisive than what they might think. I haven't gone through AI yet, but I think it's going to be more like a 6-7 point win than just a 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah, you know what? That'd be good. I would like to see the Bills kind of have a little bit of a lead there too.
Yeah.
I think that they can, and man, I really, really do think it's hard for me to believe that they are actually 9-0 for the Chiefs. That statement alone, it just surprises me based off of when I think about their talent and I think about like where they should be. I could see them so easily and happily being a 7-2 team. I could see them. I'd be so confident, or I wouldn't even be too surprised if they were performing at like a 5-win ratio this year with their performances.
Right.
I would be a little surprised, but I mean, I wouldn't be looking at it and be like, oh, that can't happen. Like, their quarterback on the Extreme Exchange is only worth like $85 or something like that. So, and don't quote me on that. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but that's what he has been for a majority of the season.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say that they have the ability to be 9-0 and then push it through 10-0 on a team like the Bills, who are also, I swear they've won their last like 3 games.
The Bills are 8-2. They have a 4.5 game lead. They're
Right.
10 games into the season. They have a 4.5 game lead over the rest of the AFC East. So, anyways, that's my game of the week. The Chiefs at the Bills.
Yeah. Hell yeah, I think that'll be good. Here, 1 minute. Let me see. Yeah, they've won their last 5 games played. So
Okay.
I think that going into the Chiefs, they have a lot of momentum rolling along with it. And I think that they could do it.
Yeah.
They could easily be the ones to do it.
I'm looking forward to it. Must-see TV.
Love it.
All right, Pablo, let's get that outro music rocking out here.
Nice.
And we are wrapping up our 33rd show. So if you made it this far, what the heck's wrong with you? No, no, thank
we
you very much.
appreciate it very much.
We appreciate it very much. It's all because of you that makes us get out here. And all those things right there. Click, like, subscribe, follow, give me a heart, whatever
Yes.
heck it is. Right, Paul?
Like, follow, subscribe to the podcast.
Ring that bell.
Make sure that you also check out our social medias for Extreme Exchange and check out the Extreme Exchange EFFL.com. Check out our website. Don't forget this podcast promo code. Let's get all of that wrapped up
Man,
in there.
you did that like you're like professional. That was fantastic. Like you said, the promo code out there. So if you do, it is still possible. Because Paul didn't win many wins
Yeah,
in
you'll
his
be
league.
doing
You
pretty-
can still join the league here. And
Pretty much right where I am.
all right. With all that being said, like I always say to everybody out there, when life gives you a chance, you make it happen. We're out of here. Peace.